Live from WSLS, this is 10 News at 6, working for you.
Now at 6, a funding fiasco. The 3 factors causing major budget issues in schools.
A local tragedy now under investigation.
There were 2 students involved who had friends and family members and siblings.
The response from parents who have spent weeks pushing for answers.
Thank you for joining us. I'm John Carlin.
And I'm Rachel Lucas. Multiple school districts here in our region are dealing with the loss of state funding, leaving some with a multi-million-dollar budget deficit.
That's a big problem. 10 News reporter Sydney Jackstimer is live in the studio tonight to explain where this kind of funding fallout, if you will, is coming from. Sydney.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of people, lots of questions. The amount of funding the state awards to school districts is calculated by 3 certain things. Now, you can see here the locality's property value. That's the biggest component that creates this equation. Then the gross income and sales tax in the locality. Now, this is creating what is referred to as a local composite index, or LCI. Now, the higher the LCI, the less funding from the state, which is what schools like Franklin County and others are now dealing with. $3.7 million. That's how much of a deficit Franklin County Public Schools will be dealing with the next fiscal year after a cut in funding from the state.
It was quite a surprise. I think everyone expected it might go up some for the next biennium. I've never seen one jump 6 full percentage points before.
Franklin County was one of the largest increases in our area, but not the only one. Places like Floyd County, Pittsylvania County, Lynchburg, and Rockbridge County have a higher local composite index than previous years, meaning less state funding. Franklin County Superintendent Dr. Kevin Sears believes the LCI scale is skewed in Franklin County because of the cost of homes on Smith Mountain Lake.
Vacation areas where people own second homes and aren't necessarily moving in to raise their families, it doesn't really account for that because the student population in Franklin County is about 50% in poverty.
To make ends meet, Franklin County is looking at having to close 2 elementary schools, Burnt Chimney and Henry, maybe even a 3rd school in the future, narrowed down between Snow Creek and Callaway Elementary, or even the Giroux Center.
We've examined the impact of a 4-day school week. We've looked at just general budget cuts that can be made throughout departments.
Lynchburg City Schools is also facing a $17.7 million deficit coming from the end of CARES Act funding and a drop in state funding.
We are doing everything we possibly can to make sure that we are advocating for the resources that our students need.
Now, before a decision is made, districts are hoping either their county or city leaders will help fund the gap, or the state will propose additional funding to assist these schools. Now, most school budgets are scheduled to be approved and adopted come March. Live in the studio tonight, I'm Sydney Jackstimer, 10 News, working for you.
New details tonight on the shooting death of a teen at a home in Giles County. Loved ones have identified the victim as 14-year-old Lee Fain, who you see there on your screen. Deputies found him with a single gunshot wound on January 19th. 2 other juveniles were at the home when the shooting happened. Very little information has been released at this time. I did reach out to the Giles County Sheriff today, who tells me the incident is still under investigation.
The Montgomery County School Board is launching a third-party investigation into the deaths of 2 high schoolers back in November. 10 News reporter Thomas Mundy talked to the woman who started a community-wide petition for transparency.
I feel grateful that the school board and superintendent heard us as a community.
The Montgomery County School Board has hired a third-party investigator to look into the circumstances of the apparent murder-suicide of Serenity Holly and Crony Monk.
I hope that the knowledge gained will help us understand what happened, and I hope that that knowledge will help us heal.
Recently, the school board placed the principal of Blacksburg High School on leave, but Blacksburg High School students held a protest at the Montgomery County School Board meeting to bring back their principal.
They showed up yesterday evening with posters that were really profound to demonstrate their admiration, respect, and how safe they feel with him in the school system.
Creator of the petition, Wendy Eckenrod Green, says the goal of the petition was not to have the principal put on leave, but to get answers to prevent a tragedy like this from happening again.
I hope that all the individuals who had decision-making authority over the well-being of Crony and Serenity, I hope they fully cooperate.
She says Blacksburg is a small community, and this tragedy continues to impact them every day.
There were 2 students involved who had friends and family members and siblings. Her friends, and I'm sure Crony's friends, are grieving significantly. They're struggling.
We reached out to the Hawley family for comment on the investigation, and while they did not wish to do an interview, they told 10 News they support the third-party investigation. They say if policies were in place to prevent the tragedy and were not used, they need to know why. They also say they do not believe the principal should be on leave due to his brief time in charge before the event. Reporting in Blacksburg, I'm Thomas Mundy, 10 News, working for you.
Turning now to your forecast tonight, where we are tracking a late week warm-up.
And we are due this. Okay, last Friday we were spoiled.
Yeah,
but we're still due.
But we want to be spoiled.
We want to be spoiled some more. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Anowich joins us now. So, Jeff, we're in the clear for the next several days, right?
We are indeed. Look at that beautiful sky, Cameron.
Nice, yeah.
The sky looks purple.
That's beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Clouds are still hanging tough for at least many of us. We have seen some breaks of sunshine here over the last couple of hours or so. The general trend will be for these clouds to continue to break up as we head into tonight. Your evening planner showing temperatures dropping to near 40 by about 9. Eventually, overnight lows will fall into the upper 20s and lower 30s. But look at Thursday's high. Up into the upper 50s to near 60. Much warmer as we head into Thursday, and there's one reason for it. We're going to see more sunshine tomorrow. That sunshine is indeed going to warm us up pretty nicely on Thursday. A little more cloud cover Friday, and then by Saturday, we see more sunshine again. Saturday looks really pretty, 55. Sunday not looking too shabby either. Maybe a little more cloud cover Sunday, but high temperatures will hit around 56. John, Rachel?
A Martinsville man is charged with arson after an early morning house fire. Investigators arrested 21-year-old Cameron Jones, who you see here. The fire broke out around 1 this morning on Hickory Street. The fire was raging through the house when crews got there. No word on if anyone was inside at the time. Jones is being held without bond.
And a man is recovering after a crash in Campbell County. It happened on Spring Mill Road in the Concord area last night. We're told the driver of a minivan was trapped after hitting an embankment, and once firefighters pulled him from the wreck, he was flown by helicopter to the hospital for treatment. There's no word on his condition.
Safety improvements are coming to local railroads. Norfolk Southern is launching a pilot program in Roanoke. It's called the Confidential Close Call Reporting System. Employees can anonymously report issues and close calls, and they won't have to worry about disciplinary action.
This is a program that is really contingent on employee engagement, employee involvement, and we feel like Roanoke's a place that really can contribute to the success of the pilot, with the ultimate hopes that this is something that we expand in 12 months after the pilot period ends.
Norfolk Southern says this could play a role in preventing train derailments and other train issues in the future.
Coming up, a successful start for a small business. The local high school students turned entrepreneurs.
But first, a special celebration for Cinco de Mayo. The Roanoke Festival promising an even more extraordinary experience for its second year.